They looked at their squad, and they looked at one player, and they made a choice that would define the entire tournament. The same choice they made 4 years earlier, and 4 years before that. This player was not the only option. This player was not the obvious choice. This player was the expensive choice, the choice that made the newspapers happy, the choice that made the sponsors happy, the choice that made everyone think the team had done something smart. But in this video, we are going to expose a pattern that is repeated through every World Cup since 1998. A pattern about how teams choose their squads, a pattern about why they choose them wrong, and a pattern that shows exactly which teams are making this mistake right now. Every 4 years, the same conversation happens in football. A country has a squad. That squad has two distinct types of players. The first type, the stars. The players everyone knows, the players whose names sell shirts and merchandise, the players who won Ballon d'Ors or play for the biggest clubs in Europe. When a manager looks at these players, the conversation is immediate and simple. Of course they go to the World Cup. Of course they will play. Of course they are the foundation of everything. The second type, the system players. These are different, not famous, not marketable. These are the players who understand the team, the players who have played together for years, the players who know how to position themselves defensively, the players who sacrifice individual moments for collective rhythm. Every World Cup, managers face the same decision. Do we go with the stars? Do we go with the system? And almost every single World Cup, they choose the stars. The pressure is enormous. The media expects stars. The sponsors want stars. The fans pay money to see stars. The clubs that own the stars demand their players start. The entire narrative of modern football is built entirely around individual star power. But the World Cup is different from everything else in football. The World Cup is not a league season where accumulated excellence automatically wins. It is a tournament, a compressed, high-pressure elimination structure, 7 matches, minimal rest, 1 injury can destroy everything. In that environment, different rules apply, different types of players matter, different chemistry matters. And when you look at the teams that actually won the World Cup in the last 25 years, something emerges, something that contradicts the entire narrative about stars being the foundation of success. Let us start with France 1998. France had Zidane, the best player in the world. When they announced their squad, the story seemed clear. Zidane would carry everything. But there was a problem. Zidane had just been suspended for a red card. The media was questioning whether he could even play. There was genuine concern, so France made a choice. To support Zidane, they brought explosive attacking wingers, young, talented, skilled players who could beat defenders one-on-one, players who could create chaos in the attacking third. On paper, it looked brilliant, Zidane and attacking firepower, but the data saw something different. These wing players were explosive individual talents, not system players. They did not carry a team's philosophy. They did not defend as a unit. They did not understand collective shape. France won 3-0 in the final, but here is the question nobody asks. Did they win because of these wingers? Or despite them? The data analysis shows the second is true. France's victories came from Zidane's tempo control, from the midfield's collective pressing, from the defensive shape. The wing players were supplementary, not fundamental, but everyone learned the wrong lesson. The lesson: bring explosive attacking talent. For the next 12 years, managers tried to replicate this model. Then something interesting happened. In 2006, Italy faced the opposite situation. The entire nation was in scandal. Juventus was being investigated. Key players were distracted. The domestic season was chaos. The media said, Italy will not win this tournament. When Italy selected their squad, they made a completely different choice than France. Instead of bringing explosive attacking wingers, they chose experienced system players. Defenders who had played together for years, midfielders who understood collective function, players who survived previous tournaments, players who knew how to defend under extreme pressure. Italy won. Everyone attributed it to defensive excellence. But the actual intelligence was in squad selection. They chose system first. Attack was secondary. 6 years later, Spain 2010. Spain had just dominated Euro 2008 with possession-based football. They had the best midfield in the world. When they selected their World Cup squad, they made a clear decision. System dominates everything. No explosive wingers. Midfielders who understood shape. Defenders who understood positioning. Strikers who could function within the system, not outside it. Spain won the tournament. But notice, Spain was not following the 1998 France model. Spain was following the 2006 Italy model, system first, attack second. Then Germany 2014 happened. Germany brought young, explosive attacking options. Germany won 7-1 against Brazil. Everyone thought, this proves explosive attacking talent wins. But that was wrong. Germany's strength was not their attacking creativity. Germany's strength was their ability to maintain defensive system even while creating offensive chaos. Belgium 2018 had perhaps the most talented squad ever assembled. De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, Courtois, all stars. Belgium reached the semifinals. Belgium did not win. Then Argentina 2022. Argentina had an aging Messi. Argentina had players from smaller clubs. Argentina did not look like a star-heavy team, but Argentina had system understanding. Argentina had players who had played together for years. Argentina won the World Cup. When you run all these cases through a data model, a pattern emerges that is impossible to ignore. The teams that won chose system first, attack second. The teams that did not win chose stars first, system second. This is not because stars are bad. Stars are excellent. Stars create moments. Stars score goals. Stars win individual battles. But the World Cup is not played like a league season. The World Cup is a tournament where a team must function as a unified unit through 7 consecutive matches with increasing pressure and fatigue. In that structure, the team that understands its system outperforms the team that is simply a collection of star players. Why? Because stars create moments, but systems create consistent performance, and consistent performance over 7 matches beats brilliant moments spread across 7 matches. The data model measures squad construction across 3 specific dimensions. First, positional familiarity. How many players in each position have played together before the tournament? Not just in training, not just in club football, actually played together. Teams prioritizing system have extremely high familiarity. The right back and right winger have played together for years. Center backs understand each other's patterns instinctively. Midfielders know how the other will move before the ball is even played. Teams prioritizing stars have low familiarity. Each star is brought in for individual quality, but individual quality does not create team familiarity. Players are meeting for the first time at the World Cup. They do not know each other's patterns. They do not know each other's habits. They do not know how to anticipate movement. This matters more than people realize. Because in a tournament, if your right back does not know if your winger will cut inside or take the outside route, that hesitation costs time. That hesitation costs structure. That hesitation costs goals. Second, system consistency. How many distinct tactical systems has the team successfully deployed in the year before the tournament? Teams prioritizing system have won through multiple formations. They have won with a 4-3-3. They have won with a 5-3-2. They have won with a 3-5-2. They have proven they can adapt. This is crucial because in a tournament, every opponent analyzes you. Every opponent prepares specifically to stop your system. If you can only win one way, opponents will figure it out. They will park the bus. They will neutralize your strength. Teams prioritizing stars rely on one system. The system is designed to showcase the stars. The stars will beat you one-on-one. The stars will create chaos. Everything else is secondary. But in a tournament, when everyone is preparing specifically for you, one system is not enough. Third, substitution quality. When forced to rotate players due to injury or suspension, how much does the team's standard drop? System priority teams have high bench quality because the bench understands the system. A backup left back plays the same positioning as the starter. A substitute midfielder understands the same pressing angles. Rotation does not destroy anything because everyone in the squad understands the system. Star priority teams have low bench quality because the bench is full of system players. The bench understands tactics. But the bench cannot create the individual moments that the stars create. When forced to rotate, the team loses its creative spark. The system collapses because the stars are gone. In a tournament where injuries happen, where suspensions happen, where fatigue requires rotation, substitution quality is not a nice-to-have, it is essential. When you measure all World Cup squads over 25 years using these 3 dimensions, the data becomes overwhelming. System priority equals consistent tournament success. Star priority equals inconsistent results. This is not speculation. This is measurable. This is mathematical. This raises an obvious question. If the data clearly shows that system beats stars, why do managers keep choosing stars? The answer is uncomfortable. Managers are not rational actors purely optimizing for World Cup success. Managers are political actors operating within enormous constraints. When a manager sits down to select their World Cup squad, they are not alone. They are surrounded by pressure from multiple directions. The media demands star names. The media builds narratives around star players. The media generates clicks and sells papers when famous players are selected. When a manager chooses a lesser-known system player over a famous star, the media questions the decision. The media creates doubt. The clubs demand their stars start. The clubs own the best players. The clubs want their players showcased in a World Cup. A manager who benches a star player from a major club sends a political message. Your player is not as important as I claimed. This impacts transfer negotiations. This impacts sponsorships. This impacts the manager's future job prospects. The fans expect to see stars. Fans pay money. Fans travel long distances. Fans come to stadiums because they want to see famous players perform. A manager who omits a famous star disappoints the paying customer. A manager loses public support. The sponsors invest based on star power. A World Cup sponsorship is built around player narratives. Sponsors want the biggest names. Sponsors want marketing opportunities around stars. A manager who omits a star loses sponsorship appeal and commercial value. And finally, the narrative of football itself. The conversation about what makes a team great is built on stars, individual moments, dribbling, skill, one-on-one creativity. The narrative does not celebrate system understanding. The narrative does not celebrate positioning and shape and defensive resilience. The narrative celebrates the moment a star beats 3 defenders and scores a goal. So even though the data clearly shows that system beats stars, the entire ecosystem of football pushes managers toward choosing stars. Media, clubs, fans, sponsors, and cultural narrative all push in the same direction. Choose the stars, and managers, rational or not, feel this pressure. They make political decisions, not statistical ones. Which teams are making this mistake right now? Which teams are prioritizing star power over system understanding for their upcoming squad? When analyzing current squad discussions, patterns emerge immediately. Some teams are building like Italy and Argentina, system first, chemistry prioritized. These teams do not generate headlines. These teams look boring. These teams have fewer famous players, but these teams understand the data. Other teams are chasing stars, bringing explosive attacking options. Maximizing marketing appeal. These teams generate headlines. These teams look exciting. These teams have more famous faces. History suggests which approach will win. The teams making smart, boring choices are often overlooked, underestimated, dismissed because they do not have 5 household names in every position. But that is exactly why they are positioned for tournament success. The teams everyone discusses as favorites often disappoint because individual talent does not solve tournament football. Because no amount of star power compensates for absent system understanding. Because a collection of brilliant individual players is not the same as a coherent team. The data sees this clearly. The teams being quietly built with system intelligence will perform better than the teams being loudly celebrated for star power. So before you decide on your favorite for the next tournament, ask yourself a specific question. Which teams are building for tournament success? Not for media coverage, not for sponsorship appeal, not for the narrative, for actual tournament success? Because the data has already answered. The question is whether you are watching what the numbers see, or whether you are watching what the media tells you to believe. The history of the World Cup suggests that the team nobody is talking about, the team that looks slightly boring in squad composition, often ends up lifting the trophy because that team has done the hard work of building chemistry. That team has done the hard work of system understanding. That team has built something greater than the sum of individual parts. And the team everyone is talking about, the team with stars in every position, often ends up disappointed in the knockout rounds because they never built the system, they never built the chemistry, they never learned how to defend together and attack together. But if the model found these patterns in squad selection, then what else has it found? What other assumptions about World Cup football are completely wrong? What other mistakes do we keep making? Which other teams are falling into the same trap? That is what we will investigate next. Soccer fashion. What the numbers saw first.